Hi, and welcome to this video on iterative constructs in Python. Hi, I'm Raghavendra, an expert in AI, ML, and data engineering. By the end of this video, you will be able to list different iterative constructs in Python, and you will as well be able to build Python programs using these iterative constructs which are available in Python. Iterative constructs in Python are implemented through one, while loops, where we are going to execute a set of statements as long as the condition supplied to while is going to be true. And then we as well have a for loop where we are going to use a for loop to iterate on a Python collection like a list. So here is a simple Python program where I'm going to accept three integer values from the keyboard corresponding to marks in three subjects, marks 1, marks 2, and marks 3. We are going to input that. So as in when I input, I'm going to convert it to an integer because I would want to perform a numerical operation on these marks. So I convert it to integer and I save it in these objects, mark 1, marks 2, and marks 3. I'm going to add them up. So here you could see the importance of converting the input, whatever we take from the keyboard, we are converting it to an integer. Had we left it as is, it would have been in string, and plus would have meant a different meaning. So marks 1, marks 2, marks 3 are added, and I save that in total, then take the average, that is total by 3, and print them up. So let's see, let me execute it. So I'm going to enter marks 1 as 89. Marks 2 as 70, marks 3 as 65. So you can see the average being printed as 74.66667 as a value. So this is an example of a code which is sequential in nature. So every piece of code, every line in the code is being executed one time, right? So it's called as a sequential construct. Let's extend further. Instead of just printing the average, we would want to conclude if the candidate has qualified or not. I'm just going to extend the previous code, whatever had explained. I'm going to extend that to conclude if the candidate has qualified or not. So I'll have to say either qualified or not qualified. For that, I'm going to make use of the if and the else blocks. So here we have computed the average, and then if the average is greater than 75, as this condition is true, I'm going to enter this block and print student qualified. Else, I'm going to print the message student not qualified. So let me input marks once again. Let me execute it. So marks 1 as 75, marks 2 as 45, marks 3 as 35. Yep. So you see a message student not qualified. I'm not interested in average, but I'm more interested in getting the message whether the student has qualified or not. Well, this is the example of conditional construct. First we saw a sequential construct, then we moved on to a conditional construct. Now I want to extend this piece of code not for just one student. We are here doing it only for one student. We want to repeat this exercise for n students. Do you think we are going to write this code n times? Definitely no. We are going to run a while loop over here. So here is the code with while. First, I'm going to input the number of students for whom I want to take the average and figure out whether they have qualified or not. It could be the total number of students in a particular batch, right? And I'm going to take a counter as 1, which means that I am going to start the processing for student number 1. Once I'm done processing, getting the average, concluding whether he has qualified or not, I'm going to begin processing for the second student. I will increment this counter to 2, counter to 3. I'm going to repeat this exercise till the number of students in that particular class. So I have this counter set to 1, and to while I put a condition counter less than or equal to the number of students. So if the counter is less than or equal to the total number of students, say if the total number of students is 3, if counter should always be less than or equal to the number of students for me to process their marks. But if I have exceeded the counter, means I have exhausted all the students, I'm done processing all their marks, and I'll have to end my program. So that's what this condition means. So I have this condition. If it is true, I'm going to enter the marks, calculate the total, calculate the average, then I am going to print either they are qualified or not qualified. So with that, I'll be done processing for the first student. Then I'm going to increment the counter. Counter is equal to counter plus 1. Counter initially had the value of 1. I'm going to set it to 2. So again, I'm going to check this condition. The counter, which is 2, is less than or equal to the number of students. Say it is 3. So then again, I do the entire processing. Then I increment the counter. Again, what do? I check the condition. If the counter, which is 3, equal to less than or equal to the total number of students, that is again true, I do the processing. Once I'm done, my counter gets incremented again. So it becomes to 4. So the total number of students I have only 3, but my counter is 4. So which means that I'm done processing all the 3 students' marks, and it's time to end the program. So this is what your while loop is going to do. Now let me execute this. So I'm going to enter the number of students as 3. I start the iteration for the first student. Here the counter is 1, remember, and the number of students, which captures the total number of students for which I'll have to process the marks and their grades, is 3. So I'm going to enter the marks, say as 75, 55, 95. Done. The first student is qualified. Counter gets incremented. Now I'm going to start the second iteration, and I'm again entering the marks for the second student in 3 subjects. These are the marks, and the conclusion is student not qualified. Now the counter is incremented to 2. We are done processing 2 students' marks. Third student, I'm beginning entering the marks, 67, 45, 99. Again, the conclusion is student not qualified. So now the counter gets incremented to 4. So the condition I check at the end is 4 is less than or equal to 3, the number of students what I have entered. It's going to be false. I'll come out of the while loop. So this is how while loop is used to repeat some set of statements one after the other. Moving on further, we're going to see how are we going to use a for loop. So here is a simple use case for that. So first I take a list of some numbers. So here are some list of some numbers. I'm going to take 2 variables here, count and sum. So what I do is, here is the syntax of for in Python. For an element in the list, that is num list, I'm going to execute these statements. So how many times these statements, 2 statements inside for, gets executed depends on the number of elements in the list. So if your list has, say, 10 elements, so these 2 statements are going to be executed for each of those elements. So it's going to be executed 10 times. So what happens is, when I say for element in num list, so num list is the list which we are going to iterate on, and this element is called as a for loop variable, which picks up one value at a time from the collection, and that value is going to be used within the loop. So first I pick up the first value from the collection, that is 10, and it's stored in element. So I'm going to say count is equal to count plus 1. So I have a counter. I'm going to increment that. So it is 0, it goes to 1, means I'm processing the first element. I'm going to say sum is equal to sum plus element. So sum is initially 0. I'm going to say 0 plus 10, which is going to be 10, and I'm going to store it in sum. Then I go back. So I just have two statements in for. Then I pick up the next element. So I store it in element. That's 100. The second element is 100, by the way. So then I'm going to increment count. It's going to be 2. I am right now processing the second element. That's what it means. Then sum initially had 0. Then it was 10. Now 10 plus 100. It's going to be 110. So that's the computation. After the second iteration, I again pick up the third element. That's 300. Store it in element. Do the processing and keep on repeating this exercise for all the elements in my list, right? So what am I doing? One, I'm keeping track of a counter of the elements as and when I'm encountering, plus I'm taking a running count for each of the elements from the collection as and when I keep picking it up. Great. So these are the two statements. Once I am done by processing the entire list, I'm going to take the sum and divide it with count. And I'm going to pass that sum divided by count to a round function where I'm going to round the output to 2 digits. That's nothing but the mean, right? Total divided by the number of elements is going to give me the mean. I'm going to round it off to 2 digits. And here is, I'm going to print the output. Let me execute it. Yep. For this list, we used a for loop to compute the average or the mean value of all the elements. So that comes to 74.73. So in this video, we have learned how to use a while loop to repeat a set of statements as long as a condition is true. And then we also learned how to use a for loop to iterate on a collection like a list. Thanks for watching this video and see you in the next video.